All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Motor City Uncut, episode 151, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit, here on October 8th, 2017. I'm your host, Dorf, joined each and every week by Major Sports Network founder Adam Hernandez and Sean Bell, who's not here again tonight, who's starting to be absent more than he is present. Sorry, part-timer. We'll make fun of you. No, in fairness, he is traveling for work. So
blah, 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 blah.
Blah, gainful employment, blah, blah.
I thought that's something he didn't have to do anymore. Remember?
I thought he had to do it less. I think it was still part of the equation. I thought it was just less. Anyway,
whatever, he's just going to make fun of more when he gets back, so...
Yeah, we were off last week because this guy right here decided to paint his kitchen instead of host a podcast with us, so... You bastard.
Sorry. Blame my wife, not me.
Oh, likely story. No, I'm kidding.
You'll soon find out.
All right. So, how do we want to start? Let's start with the Lions first. We're going to recap the last two games, starting with the one today. They fall to the Carolina Panthers 27-24. Disappointing middle two quarters, decent first quarter and decent fourth quarter. But other than that, the middle half of the game there was pretty bad. Game was so boring I fell asleep in the middle of the quarter. Woke up and saw but apparently I didn't miss anything. So 27-24. Matt Stafford played injured throughout the game. Had tape on both his ankle and other spatting on his thigh, on his front leg, so that's his left leg. Neither of those things are good, but still was able to lead the Lions were down 17 at one point. He led them to two fourth quarter scores, both the tight end Darren Fells, to get them back in the contest, but at the same time just couldn't get off the field at the end of the game. Carolina only needed one first down. Were able to pick it up to ice the last 3 and a quarter minutes of that football game. So that in mind, a couple things. Over under number of weeks until Eric Ebron is cut or not dressed, or I don't know, man.
I don't know if
drops today.
I don't know if
including a drop touchdown in the first quarter.
I don't know if they're going to necessarily cut him just because they don't have another.
They don't have anything else on the run.
No, they don't. I mean, Darren Fells isn't a receiving tight end.
No, he's not.
He's a blocking tight end. What I could see them doing is what Michigan State, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, what they do with LJ Scott is just take him out of the game and not use him. I think that's something that we could possibly see with Eric Ebron, but. I mean, obviously the time is now with Eric Ebron in order to get anything going. Because if Eric Ebron would have caught the ball today,
caught the touchdown pass,
the Lions would have won this game. I mean, theoretically, when you hypothetically,
it's so damn early in the contest.
I know. Hypothetically, if they would have had those points,
those 4 points would have
made the difference.
That made the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, it's going to. There's going to be certain aspects throughout the game that are going to change what happens at the end, but obviously if they had those 4 points, the Lions, let's just say they would have, they would have been in a much better situation if they would have had that touchdown right then and there instead of having to they had to opt for the field goal, didn't they?
Which Prater made, yes.
Yes. So
to be fair, Eric Ebron, Lions do not employ you to block anybody. That is abundantly clear that you're incapable of doing that. They don't ask you to do that, and they haven't asked you to do that for a while now. So the one thing you're still around to do is catch the ball, and you're not doing that. Mm-hmm. Catch the damn ball. Like the touchdown pass, literally, right in the center of his chest. Duh.
And this is what they got him do. It's even more.
This isn't like a jump ball in traffic that you had both hands on but didn't come down with. This is like square in the perfect, not too much velocity, perfect throw rate, square in the chest, and
No, and it's even. I mean, Eric Ebron's role on this team is ever so. It's that much more.
It's dwindling too.
Well, it's dwindling, but it's that much more important considering Calvin Johnson isn't here anymore. I mean, this is essentially why they got a guy like Eric Ebron on this team, is so he can be that big target for Matthew Stafford, where he can essentially throw a jump ball to and have him come down with it in the end zone. Yet he can't even catch a pass that's right on the numbers and haul it in for a touchdown. We're not seeing the easiest of plays for Eric Ebron, or we're not seeing him complete the easiest of plays. I mean, if he can't do something like that, then he can't block, he can't do that, then he's essentially useless on this team. With that said, though, I don't think they could necessarily get rid of him because there's nobody playing behind him.
Yeah, they can't get rid of him just yet. With that in mind, that he's not going to get cut before the end of the year. That would be you would need a lot more than what's currently happening to happen. So, I'm kind of curious about how long it's going to take them to kind of they've because they don't have a fullback and they're only keeping 3 running backs active. They're keeping 3 tight ends active at all time. They only have 3 on the roster. How long is it going to take them to either promote? I believe they have one on the practice squad. I'm not sure, but either sign or promote one, and just not dress him. It's pretty damn close. It has to be.
Yeah, and Eric Ebron has never been really that good or any good. I mean, what year are we in with him right now?
4.
Is this year 4? Yeah. I mean, he should have come around last year. I mean, last year should have really been his coming out party, and a time and place where the Lions' offense could depend on him.
With last year with Eric Ebron, if you actually take his, and you don't do the eye test, which you can't do, and just look at the raw numbers, he actually had a decent year. Didn't get in the end zone a lot, but then again, nobody from the Lions did. They didn't have a whole hell of a lot of. But then again, he should have had his decent year in year 2.
Oh yeah, that should have been his decent year. Yeah. Last year should have been the
breakout.
Yeah, it should have been the breakout year where people talk about him because he was a first round draft pick,
third of the first round.
Yeah, I mean this is a guy that you're supposed to put up there with like a Jimmy Graham of old, or Rob Gronkowski, something like that.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I mean that's what he is supposed to be. Wow, Red Sox came back hard.
Oh,
10-3.
It's like they're playing for their lives or something.
But I mean that's what we're supposed to be seeing from Eric Ebron, and it's the complete opposite. I mean, I'm sure you can go onto Pro Football Focus right now. And I'm sure he's going to be one of the worst tight ends in the league by every one of their metrics.
He's really not, though.
Is he not?
No.
Oh, that's hard to believe.
I think he checked in at this is obviously before this week. When I looked last week, I think he was something like 19th, and Darren Fells was like 14th.
Okay, but this is what it comes down to with Eric Ebron. It comes down to, given his role on the team, and this may be where Pro Football Focus is kind of missing the mark a little bit.
Well, it's the ability. That's not how they grade things.
I know, but it's whether or not you're able, because Eric Ebron has one role on this team:
catch the damn ball,
catch the ball. And if he can't catch the ball, then he's useless. I don't care how well he blocks or how well or how good of a decoy that he plays.
He never gets double covered.
No, if you can't catch the ball,
he's never drawing a second defender.
Then you're
putting
useless.
Your worst defensive back on him, and or covering him with a linebacker. He's not a threat. You're right. Fortunately, well, let's see what happens with Michael Roberts. I'm not saying they're going to need to draft another tight end at the top of the draft this coming year, because Roberts is physically promising. It's whether or not he'll mentally, be able to catch it. At the same time, he's a small school kid. You're asking him to go from being, the second target on a Toledo team to being a starting NFL tight end in 12 months. That's pretty unfair of an organization to ask, especially a tight end. Yeah, I mean, it's not good.
No,
but they beat Minnesota the week before on the road. You know what? When you're going to look at this loss to the Panthers at the end of the year, it's not going to look that bad, especially considering the Panthers have won 2 road games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
No, beat the Pats at Foxborough and a 3-1 Lions team top of the power rankings of everybody on the road as well. This isn't a bad loss. It's a loss, no doubt, but it's not a, oh my God, how do we lose to those guys? Panthers are now 4-1, and despite I arguably think that their talent on the outside sucks, especially in the defensive backfield. Their defensive backs are awful.
Well, they have. I mean, in total defense, they're 4th in the league.
I know. I just don't get how. Defensive backs are terrible.
Well, I mean, they're good. They're good up front. They're good in the middle, and they're good up front.
Oh, absolutely. They're very good up front and very good in the linebacker too. And I think your boy Khalil Mack is getting carted off. By the way.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Is he 50? No, he's not. He's 52. Yeah, Whoever 55 is just got.
Don't do that to me. What are you? What are you doing?
So it's 55. Mac's still in there. My bad. Sorry to scare you. Sorry to give you a heart attack.
Yeah, there he is.
It's whoever Lee 55. Lee.
Yeah, I don't care about him.
You heartless bastard. They've got the card out for him, and I don't care. Not on my fantasy team. Don't care.
Oh,
yeah, I'm being in a.
Is there something else I can ask for here too?
Sure.
Can I have the defense tighten up a little bit? I mean, is
defense?
Yeah. Is that too much to ask?
Oh, okay.
I mean, because yes, they
hang on.
Go ahead.
3 of the 5 games they played so far, I think they've allowed 14 points or less.
No, they allowed 10 to the Giants and
7 to Minnesota.
7 to Minnesota. They allow 27 this week to Carolina.
And they allowed 27 or whatever against.
I think 26 to Arizona, and then 30 to
the Cardinals. Yeah, or 27 to Arizona and 30 to
Falcons.
Falcons. Yeah.
I mean, just a little bit. I mean,
considering the offense's inability to move the ball recently, I think based on the excellent field position that Carolina had all day today, I think today's result was entirely acceptable, especially considering the 2 lost fumbles in your own end of the field.
I just want the defense to just a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit. Just tighten it up a little tiny bit. That's all. That's all.
Eye test tells me I think they're playing quite well.
Okay. That's all.
All right. Anything else you want to do with Lions, or do you want to move on?
No, I mean I agree with you. I think people may be freaking out about this loss a little bit, considering all the hype and everything that jumping ahead.
Oh man, well, you're the king of the segue.
The hype that the Lions have been getting heading into this week, considering where they were with power rankings and blah 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 blah. I do think that they're still one of the better teams in the NFC. I don't know if that's saying a whole lot right now, considering the NFC is pretty bad. But you got to move on from this game. Obviously, you hope that what happened today, as far as especially with Matthew Stafford, that the bumps and bruises that he took today aren't going to carry over to
they will
next week. Well, they're not going to affect you too bad, and they're able to.
You'd hope not. No.
To move on from this, which I hope they can. So go ahead.
Well, that's all I got on the Lions. Who do they got this next week?
Who do they have next coming up?
I don't even know.
Keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Sports. Come on, I'm stalling. And if anybody's listening to this on the replay,
New Orleans,
turn it off. Oh, New Orleans come off a bye week too. Is that a home game, or are they down?
They're at the Superdome.
Ooh.
I'm not worried. I'm not. New Orleans sucks.
I know they do.
New Orleans sucks. They're already talking about getting rid of Adrian Peterson at the trade deadline too.
Oh, good. They're not using him. Why keep him? He's not being used.
Good. He's in football hell then. He's on a shitty team and not being used.
I would call it... No, that's football purgatory.
Whatever.
Football hell is Colin Kaepernick.
No, I'd say that's football purgatory. Okay. Being on a shitty team and not being played at all, that's saying a lot about your career.
Oh, fair. At the twilight of your career, not being played, not being used. Yeah, fair. All right. So, for those of you watching on the video, just saw my giant big smile here. Number 7, Michigan falls at home to unranked Michigan State, who jumped to number 22 in the AP poll released earlier today. Following their victory, I believe U of M dropped to 14th.
I believe they fell to. Was it 17th? I think they fell to. I think it's. I think it might be 17.
I forget where I didn't bother really to look. I was just, oh hey, MSU's in, and oops.
I believe it's 17, but go ahead, keep talking.
Being triumphant
17
at the big house.
It is 17
in a monsoon, 14-10. Michigan State did not pick up their first down of the second half until the drive that essentially iced the game. Took up essentially the final 4 minutes. They punted the ball back with about 40 seconds to go. And no timeouts for the Wolverines. Did not get their first down in the second half till then. 5 turnovers for the Wolverines.
2 fumbles lost.
2
3
fumbles
interceptions
lost by running backs. Both of those are excellent plays by Spartan linebackers. I'm going to give them that. And 3 interceptions, none of which were like great plays. It was more like, oh, hey, safety's the intended receiver. Both the interceptions by David Dowell, Michigan State free safety, looked like he was the intended receiver. Honestly, shit play calling by the Wolverines offensively in the second half.
Absolutely.
They panicked. Run the fucking ball.
Especially when it's raining.
Run the fucking ball. You'll be fine. You're only down 1 score. Just run the ball. You're not going to run out of time. Nope. We're going to drop back a guy who's clearly getting pummeled by a pass rush, has no confidence in his receivers, and yeah. And an offensive line that can't protect him.
Well, Dorf, you
go fucking jumbo and play big boy ball and win by 1 score. That's all you have to do.
Win the supposed Michigan
ugly.
way. Win the supposed Michigan way by pounding the ball in there, and that didn't happen. But Dorf, you mentioned this. You mentioned this a couple of weeks ago about Michigan's play calling when all that Wilton Speight criticism was running amok. And I will say too that Wilton Speight hasn't been good. He hasn't been good for this team.
Oh, but we need to get this in here. Wilton Speight likely out for the season with 3 fractured vertebrae.
Yep. Looks like
similar injury to Derek Carr actually.
Mm-hmm. Is Derek Carr out for the year though?
No, Derek Carr almost went this week. He practiced the week after.
Ouch.
Cam Newton played 1 week after fracturing a vertebrae in his neck in a car accident.
So didn't Tony Romo do that? Or didn't he play like a couple of weeks after?
I'm not sure. I don't remember Tony Romo ever doing his vertebrae. He's got glass collarbones. So that's what he's got.
I thought Tony Romo did that too, though. Or something, or he like broke a bone in his neck.
I don't remember that.
Or something. Anyways, though, but no, you mentioned something about this a couple of weeks ago when it came to Michigan's play calling.
Oh, yeah.
And you're absolutely
it's
right.
Garbage.
I thought, look, I think that Michigan thinks that they are better than they actually are, especially when it comes to their wide receivers who are very, very young, questionable quarterback.
They don't have wide receivers. They have a slot guy and a tight end who lines up out wide.
Well, this is Michigan, and this is Michigan's offense in a nutshell. They don't have an offensive line. They have an offensive line. They don't have a right tackle. Okay, and they're unwilling to admit that. Yeah. Okay. Yes. They have shaky quarterbacks. Their top 2.
Yeah.
Very, very shaky. They don't have any wide receivers. They don't have
a stable of running backs, but don't use them.
Yes, and they don't have a tight end that's going to be a difference maker like Jake Butler's last year. Not to mention, and I said this many times before, they can't rely on good field position anymore with Jerome Peppers gone. This is not happening anymore. And
don't they had good field position the entire second half. They got the ball on the Spartan side of the field 4 times.
I'm talking about the entirety of the season.
The entirety of the season, correct.
And like I said, I think Michigan just keep on playing up to what they think that they are, and they just simply aren't. It's like a pitcher who thinks that he still has a high 90s fastball. So
Jordan Zimmerman, is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
They're the Jordan Zimmerman of college football.
They are a baseball pitcher who used to throw in the high 90s, but can only top out at 92 now. and he's still trying to blow them away with high
It's
heat.
the same way he always has.
Yes, and it's
Jordan Zimmerman,
and it's not working. It's not working, and they're still calling plays on offense like that's the case, and they can't do that. Especially last night. Last night, I don't care how good of a team that you have. If you have one of the best passers in college football and some of the best wide receivers in college football, the way that the weather was last night, the way that it was coming down, you have to run the ball. That has to be your number one priority. Like you said, Dorf, because you're only down by one score. It's not like you're sitting here you're down by 2 touchdowns and a field goal. No, you're only down 14-10. A touchdown wins it for you, or a touchdown puts you in the lead. You don't need to. You don't.
Oh
need
no!
to get
The way
multiple
Michigan
scores
State's
here.
offense is playing in the second half, a touchdown wins it for you.
Yes, and it's exactly, and this is.
They had like 7 total yards till that final drive.
Look, we had something go up today, Dorf, and it's not like it's and I hate taking the air out of Michigan State, out of this big celebration, but. You know what? Michigan State did win this game.
I don't think you can.
No. Look,
you beat a top 10 Wolverines team on the road.
No. You said it the other day that Michigan State fans were heading into this game with house money.
Here's
Michigan
my
State
expectation for the game was don't get Alabama like you did in
the
college football playoff 2 years ago, and you're fine.
Michigan though lost this game more for themselves than Michigan State actually won it.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you turn,
I am hard. I'm not gonna throw my full weight behind that comment because 5 turnovers. You forced 5 turnovers.
Sure, you did, but in large part too that rests on Michigan's
and
shoulders.
You didn't turn
as
the
well.
ball over yourself.
No, 0 turnovers for Michigan State, and that's great, especially in that kind of weather on the road in a hostile environment.
You had a couple of scary snaps there, Brian. The work you hold on to the damn ball, but
the thing is though is you look. Michigan couldn't pass the ball. They ran the ball okay when they were allowed to.
When the play was called, yeah.
When the play was called.
They panicked. The offensive... Here's the deal.
And that's something...
And here's the problem. You know what? With NFL coordinators. They feel panicked. They panic when they don't throw the football. When they don't continue to throw the football. It's... You have to throw the ball. No, you don't. You just need to run the ball and get out of there. That's all you have to do. Honestly, if the Wolverines came out and ran the ball 65% of the time in the second half, they win that game probably 20-14. That's just running the ball was worth 10 points in the second half. But no, we're gonna run predictable plays early in. We're going to run predictable shit on first and second down. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and fucking long, and we're asking a quarterback who's clearly rattled to have to throw the ball down the field into coverage. You have to acknowledge you do not have talent outside right now this year. You do not have wide receiver talent. You cannot get behind the sticks. The Wolverines could probably go 9-3. Playing Stanford-style ugly ball. Where seriously, it's 7 offensive linemen, a fullback, and another tight end, and we're going to run the fucking ball. Over and over and over. And we're going to win 21-10 and be happy. David Shaw, Stanford ugly ball. They could do that. Now, honestly, if they had the intestinal fortitude to deal with the bitches around campus. Say, this is boring. This isn't fun football. Shut up. We're winning games.
Well, it's the same shit that ran Lloyd Carr out of town. Well, not really. He was going to retire anyway. But it was the bitching that was going on when Michigan was winning boring.
A continual problem with you see with NFL teams, especially. I'm bored with 5 yards of carry. Let's put it in the air. Being bored with 5 yards of carry.
That's what Michigan fans were getting pissed off about Lloyd Carr with. Is they were pissed off that they were too boring.
We gotta run the spread. Spread them and shred them.
And then the nail in the coffin was when Appalachian State beat them.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It's like, oh, we need that.
They have plenty of talent up front to win ugly. They just refuse to do it. Once again, this is another case of the Michigan State Spartans out-coaching the Wolverine staff. This is, 3 staffs in a row now? That, quite honestly, you've heard me call the Michigan State staff a bunch of JV coaches.
The staff isn't that. I mean, Mark D'Antonio is a good football coach.
Yeah, but his coordinators are a bunch of junior varsity.
And I think after last night,
belong on the JV field.
Well, hold on. I think after last night too, I think some Michigan State fans owe Mark D'Antonio a little bit of an apology.
I've never questioned Mark D'Antonio's ability to coach. I questioned his decision on coordinators.
But I'm glad he brought up coaching, because
coached him.
Well, but when do Michigan fans start questioning Lord and Savior Jim Harbaugh here?
No.
Hold on. He's 1-3 now against rivals.
1-4.
Is it 1-4? I think it's 1-3.
He's played 5 games against rivals. He's in the middle of year 3. He has to have 4 coming into the year. So
are you counting Notre Dame in there?
No.
Did they beat Notre Dame?
No.
Has he played Notre Dame?
No.
Anyways.
No, the 1-4 record is he's 0-2 against Ohio State and 1-2 against Michigan State.
He's 1-2 against Michigan State?
Yeah. Trouble with a snap was 2015.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, 2016 they,
I was
9-point ass whooping because we're gonna go for 2 when we don't need 2. Whatever. Yeah, it was a boner. And then this past year.
Okay, but when do you start questioning? Because this is a Michigan team. Remember, this is a Michigan program that lives and dies when it comes to those rivalry games. And you know what? In some sense, though, you have to, because you have to beat your rivals. I mean, if you're going to elevate yourself to the Big Ten title game, you have to beat Michigan State. What was that?
I thought I hear myself. I thought I lost myself in my ears. I thought my mic just went.
Oh no, but you have to beat Michigan State, and you definitely have to beat Ohio State if you're coming out in the Big Ten East.
Absolutely,
that's
there's no way around it.
No, that's just the way it is. And if you can't beat those
Penn
two
State
teams,
too.
And Penn State's not a rival, but yes, this year you
have to beat them though.
Yeah, this year you have to beat Penn State. But that hasn't happened. Look, Michigan hasn't gone to the Big Ten title game at all. Ever under Jim Harbaugh.
Ever.
And ever. But you would have thought that given the hype that Jim Harbaugh had coming in here and how great of a football coach he is, which again, Jim Harbaugh is a very, very good football coach. But is it carrying over? Is it carrying over at this point as much as you thought it would? So was Brady Hoke, though. Brady Hoke was a good recruiter. Does that have more so to do with the program itself, or the guy doing the recruiting?
Was a good recruiter too.
They all were good recruiters, but I think that has more.
Does this get back to the classic? The program recruits itself.
I think that's a lot. I think that has a lot to do with it. Dorf is the Michigan program. Look, I think for the most part, Ohio State is going to do very well recruiting, despite who the head coach is. Does it help that Urban Meyer's there?
They did really nice under the 1-year tenure of Luke Fickell.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to do well even if Urban Meyer isn't there? Does it help that Urban Meyer is there? Yes. And yes. Is Notre Dame always going to do well recruiting? Yeah, probably. Michigan, yes. Alabama, if Nick Saban wasn't there, I'm sure they would still do a hell of a job.
They would do okay for another half decade at least.
So that's the long and short of it. Yes, Jim Harbaugh is a really good head football coach, but it's time to start holding him accountable in to a certain degree here. Because he's not getting it done when it matters most. Yes, you can go up there and run up the score against your non-conference cupcakes and your conference,
a bad Florida team.
Yeah, in your conference, bottom of the barrel like the Indianas or the Purdues and so on and so forth.
Northwestern.
But you know what? This is the second straight week now that Michigan State, who is supposed to be a down-and-out team, has kind of turned some heads a little bit. This week for sure. Last week in that win against Iowa, look, I think that turned some heads a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think that was a game, especially coming off of Notre Dame, that people perhaps thought that they could probably lose.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, and as it looks right now, Notre Dame is continuing to
win games.
So maybe that loss...
Notre Dame is also 4-1.
Yeah, so maybe that loss against Notre Dame isn't so bad. You know what? maybe this Michigan State team isn't as bad as everybody thought they were.
Absolutely. I mean, that very well could be the case. So, a part of always this week since the advent of social media is trolling social media for excuses from the random fan bases after a loss, especially one of this nature. You want to know my favorite?
What's that?
Blame ABC.
Oh, God, why? Fake news or something?
No. Starting the game so late. If this game was played in a more traditional time of noon or 3:30, this wouldn't have happened.
What are they?
The weather wouldn't have happened.
What are they?
It wouldn't have been a factor.
What are they? Chris Peterson now out of the Pac-12 complaining about start times or something?
Yeah.
I mean, no. This is a primetime caliber game. ABC wanted to put it on their primetime schedule.
And can you blame them? There wasn't anything else going on this week.
No, and you know what? This is a game that everybody's going to take note of because you've got a very good rivalry game between.
You've got a top 10 team playing a rival.
Yes,
it's always good. It's always a good game.
What is the Iron Bowl not going to be hyped up because Auburn might suck one year? No,
is Alabama LSU, despite LSU being hot garbage, is Alabama LSU not going to be on CBS primetime?
Yeah. No, this is the way that networks pick their shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
what is going to draw the biggest ratings? And you know what? And here's the deal. Actually, Johnny Bacon, local columnist, I believe did he work for the AP?
I don't think he works for the AP.
I think you can find his shit everywhere.
I think he works for whoever the hell he wants to work for.
Yeah. Author of several books. If you're from the area, you guys have heard of Johnny Bacon before. Wrote a column right before the game.
He's an old school journalist.
Yeah. Don't blame the TV networks. Blame the schools. They cash the checks. They're willing participants.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, turn down the money. Oh, we're good. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it at noon.
Well, not only that. I mean, how absurd is it to blame the start time? Like, what
and
is
by
that?
the way, the schools can say, we're playing at noon, or we're playing at 3:30. Michigan State does it every year for their homecoming game. They play at noon. It doesn't matter. No, it's like, for fuck's sake, they played Indiana for their homecoming game for like the last 6 years. So, whatever. It's not like it would have been a primetime matchup, but that one is always penciled in at the beginning of the year. You can say no. You can turn down a bigger revenue sharing check.
I just don't get what the big deal was about a primetime game. How that managed to affect the loss.
Saw that.
Was it because it just happened to rain?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're still a better team than Michigan State, so it should affect them more so than you. Unless you think that Michigan State was a better team than you.
Yep. Apparently not.
I mean, this season, I'm sure if there was a repeat game of this, I'm sure Michigan would probably
win 7 out of 10 times.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're bitching about the start time, you're either telling me that what you're telling me is you don't think you're as good as a team as Michigan State. That's what you're telling me right now.
You were at home. You had everything going for you, and you didn't pull it off.
Doesn't Michigan usually have extremely easy schedules too?
Oh yeah.
In retrospect, when it comes to playing on the road, so what the fuck are these people bitching about? I mean, that rain was coming anywhere. That rain stretched all the way through.
I lost my satellite signal for about 10 minutes.
No, but Dorf, when I was looking at the radar, that rain was stretching all the way from the southern Michigan border,
like
all the way up to
like Kentucky.
Well, it stretched all the way up into the upper part of the lower peninsula.
Yeah.
So even if that was in Michigan, in East Lansing, it was still going to be raining there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would have started at 3 or noon, then yeah, it wouldn't have been raining. But that's such a bullshit. Look, if that's what Michigan fans are going to be running with, I'm disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. You guys are a bunch of bitches if that's the excuse that you're going to be running with. I don't like that.
It's lame. It is lame, and it was one of those that I saw that in there, and I just commented, "I don't get it," and just to kind of stoke the fire. Play with the trolls a bit. Got a lot of people kind of riled up. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about this game, or is Jesus. 8-2 since little brother.
Look, don't open your fucking mouth, Mike Hart.
Oh yeah, to your point about not wanting ESPN not wanting this on, or ABC not wanting this on primetime, drew a 3.9 Nielsen overnight, highest rated game of the week across all networks.
It should be. The only other game that you have is Alabama and Texas A&M. And that's CBS.
It was on at the same time.
Yeah, and that was
a 7 o'clock.
It's an SEC game. I think CBS has rights to that.
CBS has first dibs on all SEC games. All right, before we move on from college football, how about that Western Michigan game?
Oh my God, that was
71-68,
highest scoring game
in 7 overtimes ever.
Yeah, in FBS history.
7 OTs.
No, that's. I mean, look, if there was ever a reason to defend the overtime system in college football, then that would be the game right there. I still like the NFL version better.
I think you're fake news.
But I mean that makes for exciting football.
Yeah.
That
it held exciting football.
What about who was it? I forgot who it was, but his sister running out on the field.
The tight end. What she thought that he caught the game-winning touchdown pass, but no, it was just like in overtime. They were going first, and he caught a touchdown pass. She thought they won, and she got escorted out of the building. And then they played for another 2 hours.
They still win anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really, really fun. Oh, what about John O'Corn's acting job?
Oh, when he
on the sideline.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I have it on reliable authority from one of the guys that was standing right there, who, by the way, was in my brother's wedding.
Uh-huh.
He was one of the trainers that was like literally right there. He's like, no one touched him. He just fell backwards. He launched himself backwards. Did
he launch himself? Because
he launched himself backwards.
I remember people say, I never thought that he got touched. I don't know if he slipped or something because of the...
he launched himself backwards to draw the foul.
Jeez.
Hey, it worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
It worked.
Whatever.
No one touched him.
They have bigger problems to deal with than that. I don't know what they're going to do going forward as far as the quarterback goes.
I told you, Brandon Peters will be the quarterback by the end of the year.
Yeah, might have to. I mean, it's. I think they give John O'Corn one more week.
Who do they have this week?
Who do they have? I want to say Indiana.
I'm not sure.
I think it's.
I don't even know who State plays this week.
I think it's Indiana, Michigan. One of the two plays Indiana. I'm pretty sure. Michigan plays Indiana. MSU plays Minnesota. PJ.
Row the boat. They lost this week too, didn't they?
Broncos foot.
Horseshoe. Broncos foot.
God, what a dork.
I don't get that one.
What a dork.
Yeah. Also, if you want to bitch about the officiating, Jared Bush, or whatever, Bush, the linebacker, got away with a humongous targeting call on the workie. Didn't even get a foul or anything called on the play. So wham. Not to mention on your touchdown run by your fullback, you got away with 2 false starts on the play.
Minnesota lost to Purdue.
Whatever. 2 bottom of the barrel Big Ten teams. No one cares. And yeah. Wham. Win games. Or as in the famous words of one Mike Pelini, big plays. Your favorite receiver should not wear number 6 in white. There, John O'Corn. Anyway, yeah. Hey, and here's the other thing. Michigan State's defense tried to give you a shot on that final possession. We're going to forget to cover somebody, and he's going to drop the ball. Oh, and yeah, here's free 15 for an unnecessary out-of-bounds personal foul.
Look, Michigan State wasn't good either. They didn't play a great game.
No.
But they did enough.
They did good enough.
Their defense played well enough to give their offense a chance to win. And when it comes down to it, that's all that matters. If you do that every single week, you'll probably win every single one of those games.
I got a stat here for you.
Go ahead.
Found on Twitter. Through their first 31 career games at Michigan, Brady Hoke, 24-7 record, 1-1 in bowl games, 2-2 against his rivals defined as Michigan State and Ohio State.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh, also 24-7, 1-1 in bowl games, 1-4 against his rivals. Ruh-roh.
It's not good. I will say one of those wins though against one of those wins that Brady Hoke was able to manage against a rival.
The worst, ugliest football game played in the history of humanity.
Yeah. Are you talking the Ohio State game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Against the Luke Fickell.
Yeah,
Ohio
and
State
you
team.
also had the worst football game in the history of man against Michigan State in his tenure, too. The 12-10 game in the monsoon.
Yes.
That was also his.
Yep. So.
And you know what?
But it doesn't matter.
There's a pretty good chance their ass gets pounded by OSU this year, too.
Who, Michigan?
Oh, yeah. Ohio State, especially with their loss to Oklahoma and Oklahoma going down this week, if they still have playoff aspirations, they don't just have to win. They have to pound people.
Well, hold that thought because we'll be talking about that later on in the Majors Live. So.
All right, I will. Yeah, they might run up the score. And that game's in Columbus, isn't it?
No, it's in Michigan.
That's it.
It's in Michigan.
The quietest 110,000 people in the world.
Well, let's say Michigan doesn't have very good luck when it's monsooning out. Remember the Utah game?
Yeah.
A couple years ago?
That was pretty bad.
That was really bad, and it was.
Yeah, they lost.
That was the Shane Morris game too.
Yep. Oh yeah, the Shane Morris has to go back in there because Wilton Spate didn't know where his helmet was.
Is that the game that cost Dave Brandon his job?
Dave Brandon was a dead man walking anyway.
Well, I think that was the final nail in the coffin because didn't he send Brady Hoke up to the podium without any good talking points?
Oh yeah, no company line established. Yeah.
Yeah, he just threw him out to the wolves and here, deal with it. And I think that was it for Dave Brandon. This is Dave Brandon.
I'm Dave Brandon.
I'm Dave Brandon.
He's the by the way,
CEO of Toys R Us.
Who just filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they did. And no, there's that guy followed him, Jim Hackett.
Where's that?
He's the CEO of Ford.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Ford's doing pretty well, aren't they?
They're probably in second place.
Well, they also didn't have to take the bailout too.
Yeah, well, they've squandered that lead.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. They're still.
Okay.
So let's see. Domino's Pizza sucks. He fucked up Michigan.
And he led.
And Toys R Us is going bankrupt.
Yeah, he led Toys R Us.
You know what, though? I mean, is it fair to say that Toys R Us may be suffering the same...
He just happened to take over when it was already a burning ship.
I mean, you have a bunch of those type of stores going up against Amazon.
Yeah, you're kind of making Dave Brandon sound like he was the captain of the Titanic, more like he was a firefighter that got blamed for not putting a 5-alarm fire out in time to save the building.
Yeah, I think that's happening to a lot of people. Amazon is fucking everybody up right now.
New World Order.
It could be, man. It's kind of scary. I know you're firmly on board. You and my wife.
Oh, of the Amazon?
Yeah.
Skeptical of them like any other large corporation, so
whatever. You keep buying.
Not really.
No?
Oh. Honestly,
other
people use my account more than I do.
Well, my wife does.
I use it for textbooks.
We get an Amazon shipment almost every single day. So, yeah. Well, so I think we're probably safe when Amazon sends in their
stormtroopers.
Yes.
We're a loyal customer. They're going to purchase history. My other favorite line on social media was Michigan, according to the Football Power Index of ESPN. ESPN, 86% chance of Michigan winning. Michigan State, hold my beer. You know what? Here's one thing I do want to give the Wolverines credit for. Their fan base, they stayed.
Good.
All the students stayed. If that was
is that Michigan State?
My program, they would have vacated as soon as it looked stormy. It got slightly windy.
They'd have been at the bar already in the second quarter.
Absolutely. They would have bailed at halftime because it's gonna rain. Yeah, to their credit.
Look at
Everybody
Dorf.
stayed.
Look at Dorf handing out the kudos to Michigan fans.
And ripping on my own team at the same time.
Yeah.
So, all right. Got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Red Wings 2-0. Go team.
There we go. Against
4-2 win in the opener and a 2-1 shootout victory in the second game. We've done it all with Andreas Athanasiou, who took a flight to Sweden to start working out with a Swedish team.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the hockey term is skating. Starting to skate with a Swedish team.
As long as he's not going to the KHL. Whatever.
Why is Sweden better?
Because they're not competing with KHL money at that point.
Fair.
Is
that a sign of good faith, you think, by Athanasiou, that I'm not just jumping at that a potentially bigger offer?
It could be.
I'm just going somewhere where I can
keep in shape.
Keep in shape.
Could be.
It's a great way to stay in shape.
It could be. And look, I mean, I hope the deal gets done. I mean, sooner rather than later. I mean, because despite them being 2-0 on the season, they still need him.
Yep, they have outscored their opponents in those two contests. Well, technically 5-3, but they get the second goal, the extra goal for the shootout. Yeah. But
it was a pretty goal by Franz Nielsen in the shootout. There, it was very, very nice. I don't know what the hell Jeff Blashill was doing by putting Trevor Daley out there. I saw that. I saw that in the box score. That was kind of. I mean, he missed the goal, but I didn't think his move was all that bad. I mean, he tried to go in there. And I bet you that's one of those that I don't want to call it fucking around in training camp, but I think that's one of those that was kind of established. All right, everybody's gonna try this. Let's see what happens. Oh, he's actually not too bad at this. Well, I mean, he wasn't. I mean, he made a decent move to try to deke out Craig Anderson. It didn't work, but. I mean, then again, the goalie play last night between Jimmy Howard and Craig Anderson was incredible. I mean, you saw what two very, very good goalies go back and forth in the game. It was like a pitcher's duel in baseball, and Jimmy Howard was lucky enough to come out. Not seeing many of those in these playoffs, by the way. No, not in the baseball playoffs. No, absolutely not. It's dingers. It's all dingers and doubles, man. Yeah. But I mean, as far as the Red Wings go, 2-0. I mean, it's obviously something that you have to. If you're a Red Wings fan, you have to like. I mean, considering heading into the season, I don't think a lot of people are expecting much out of them. But in the first game, you have guys like Anthony Mantha, Martin Ferk coming around. Ferk scored twice. He scored in both games. Yeah, he did. Henrik Zetterberg scored in that first game. The guy that you waived in the middle of last year, by the way. Yeah, and Detroit too, continuing that. Larkin got on the board too. Yep, Detroit continuing too. Their success in the shootout. They're at 9-0 in the shootout last year. 9-0. But what do you remember their overtime record was? Oh, overtime record wasn't good. It was a toilet. It was but you know what? Larkin had a down season last year. They weren't playing Mantha as much as they probably should have. You get some of those younger guys another year. I think Detroit could still be a very, very dangerous team in the overtime period, and with more of an open ice surface, 3-on-3 as opposed to going 5-on-5. But I think that they've been very, very good 5-on-5 in these first two games as well. I thought that they applied some nice pressure against Minnesota, and I thought that they did the same thing. It was a very, very back and forth game last night, but they sustained the pressure. They sustained the the road pressure. Yeah, by having to go and the other thing to consider is both those two teams are coming off playoff appearances. Yeah, Ottawa made it to what did Ottawa? Did they go to the Eastern Conference Finals? Didn't they? Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, they lost in Game 7 against games in the conference finals. I mean, against Pittsburgh. That was the top 4 hockey team in the world last year. Yeah, and they went on the road, and again, it's obviously in their building. And again, I know it's obviously very, very early. It's just October. I mean, October hockey is essentially still preseason hockey, but still, they're 2-0, and I think that Jimmy Howard's playing very, very well. You're getting some production out of your younger players, especially a guy like Dylan Larkin, who was largely silent last year. You know what? So far, so good. Very short spurts, but other than that, you're right. Yep. So far, so good. So after you've watching these first two games, of your expectations, I know we didn't get our expectations on record, but have they changed at all? No, I think Detroit, in large part, I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the league. I think the worst. So they're not going to be Tigers bad. No, I know. I think the two worst teams in the league that we're going to come the end of the season is going to be Colorado and Las Vegas. It's just Vegas. Get it right. Vegas, whatever. Vegas. Golden Knights. Worst name One of the worst logos.
Oh, they'll
sports.
rebrand it in 5 years.
I hope they do. I hope they do. I think.
What would you think would be a better name?
Vegas Knights.
Not just Vegas Knights.
Yeah.
Drop the golden part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not like the Vegas Land Sharks or something like that.
No.
So you don't want to take rebranding advice from Ole Miss.
No.
You saw that they rebranded, right? They're still going to be the Rebels, but their mascot is now a land shark.
A land shark?
Yes.
Why isn't it?
Instead of the rebel guy, it's now a land shark.
Should be Admiral Akbar.
Oh, that's good.
You never
sing. I've never heard that before.
You never heard that before?
No. That's great. That's really good.
It's a trap. No. I want to see just the Vegas Knights. I think it's a good. I think it's a good plan to Vegas Knights. You know, nighttime in Las Vegas, and the owners, want to have Knights in the title.
And a lot of overlap with the casino culture there, and I think that's I
don't think they should do land sharks because there's already sharks.
Yeah.
But I like the Knights because they kind of form that rivalry.
So they're not going to become
Kings.
like bulldogs of college sports, where everybody and their brother has a bulldog mascot in their conference. In some cases, two.
No.
Okay.
No. But no, I haven't changed. I think if the Red Wings are lucky, if they're fortunate enough, then they could back in as one of the two wildcard teams in the East.
Okay.
But I mean, as far as that,
you still don't think they're good enough to finish top 3 in the Metro?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. I mean, they're still gonna have some growing pains. I think they're still sketchy on defense. They're still gonna have some growing pains up front. And that's just the way the world is with the Red Wings.
Going forward, assuming both are healthy, what do you think the playing time split will be between Howard and Mrazek?
Whoever has the hot hand. Yeah.
Just ride them until they're cold.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think they're
with the obvious exception of like back-to-backs.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I don't know if that's the best course of action. Who knows? Maybe you see one of them dealt at the trade deadline if
that would certainly help their financial situation.
Yeah, if come need be, if both are playing really, really well and somebody out there needs a goaltender. But there's
always somebody who needs a goaltender.
Yeah, but there's never somebody who needs a goaltender, it seems like.
Enough to give you fair value?
Enough to give you fair value, or a team that's going to be in a position to win and buy that needs a goaltender, because usually if you need a goaltender, you're probably not a winning team. Yeah, you're probably not going to be a winning team anyway. So I hope they get back in. To tell you the truth, I'll look, Red Wings fans are playing with house money. I'll use your terminology heading into this weekend's game against Michigan State. Red Wings fans are playing with house money. I'm not going to be completely shocked if they are able to back into the playoffs. I think we're seeing...
I wouldn't call it backing in. Backing in would be like you're in a spot the entire year and you go on a slump and still make it down the stretch.
Well, how they did it the last couple
times they made it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they backed in. But no, I could see themselves doing just enough to get one of those last 2 wildcard spots.
And you know what? I will still maintain when more than half your league makes the playoffs, it shouldn't be unreasonable to expect.
It shouldn't be totally insurmountable. I mean, I think this team still has some adequate talent enough that could propel them into the playoffs, but I wouldn't expect them to go far. I mean, I don't think they would get past the first round, because you're going to see them play Pittsburgh or Washington in the first round
and get housed.
But then again, Washington's never been a good playoff team.
Yeah,
either,
true story, bro. All right, we're going to wrap things up here tonight on the cut room floor. Anibal Sanchez, all Tiger stuff here. Finally, officially has his option declined, so the Tigers will cut him a $5 million check to go away instead of picking up at $16 million. So a savings of $11 million by making that move. Miguel Cabrera doing something awesome, flying a youth team from Venezuela up to the tournament in Mexico after they couldn't afford to do it due to the economic struggles.
Good for him.
And also, Tigers also, as pointed out by Bless You Boys, surprising piece of quality content from them. Normally garbage.
Is it a fluff piece?
No. It's just a factoid.
Okay.
Tigers will have not only the first pick in the upcoming Rule 4 draft, the amateur draft, they will have first pick in the Rule 5 draft. Mm-hmm. And first dibs on all waiver claims until the end of April.
Ooh.
So if there's anybody that they want, they can have them. That's free.
Benefits of being a shitty team.
Here, the league, we're incentivizing you to be less shitty.
Did you anything else?
No, it's it.
Did you hear the rumors about Castellanos potentially being dealt this offseason?
Okay. You're rebuilding, so what?
That's what I'm saying.
There are no sacred cows.
I don't know if I trade him.
I'm all on board if you get a nice offer for Michael Fulmer, bye-bye. I'm all about that.
Nah, I don't want to deal with Michael Fulmer.
So you have sacred cows?
Yeah, a few.
Okay. No, this is a rebuild. No sacred cows.
Well, I think what you want is a guy like Michael Fulmer in a rebuild.
Sure.
I mean, that's ultimately what you're hoping for with some of these prospects. Yes, obviously, if there's ever one of those knockdown deals for anybody, then yes, you take it. I just don't think that you're going to be getting one of those for a guy like Michael Fulmer.
Sure.
Nor should you gamble in that sake, because everything that you would want in that return, you already have in a guy like Michael Fulmer.
Absolutely.
That's always been my argument against something like that.
And you're right, young, controllable still for the foreseeable future. God, it's good. Anyway. Also, not that you should care from a player personnel perspective about, he's a guy that fans will show up for, but he's a guy that fans will show up for. All right, anything else?
No, I don't think so.
That's going to wrap up this episode 151 of the Major Sports Network, Detroit's presentation of Motor City Uncut. Join us each and every Sunday at 6-ish p.m. Eastern, right here on one of the 17,000 different distribution channels which we're found on. So for Adam, I'm Dorf, and part-timer Sean, who's not here. We'll see you all next time, and go green.